Gross domestic product, or GDP, is a measure of a country's economic performance. It represents the total value of all goods and services produced within a country's borders in a specific time period. There are several advantages to using GDP as an economic indicator. It provides a standardized measure that allows for comparisons between different countries. Additionally, it helps policymakers make informed decisions about economic growth and stability. However, GDP also has its limitations. It does not account for the distribution of income, the informal economy, or the value of household work. Moreover, it does not consider the negative externalities of economic activity, such as environmental degradation. Understanding GDP and its implications is crucial for making informed decisions about economic policies and priorities. In our globalized world, we utilize a universal measure to assess the economic performance of varying countries. That measure is the gross domestic product, or GDP. This widely accepted standard provides a consistent method to position countries in terms of their economic productivity, offering a straightforward and comparable overview of their economic standing. Picture yourself in an international economic conference. Delegates from the United States, China, Germany, and India are present, each proudly declaring their country's economic strength. To assess these claims and compare these diverse economies objectively, we turn to GDP. This economic yardstick offers a uniform platform to understand the economic prowess of each country. In simpler terms, GDP is the monetary measure of the market value of all final goods and services produced in a period by a country. It's used to offer a snapshot of a country's economic health. Now let's delve deeper. The United States, recognized for its flourishing economy, boasts a GDP of around $21.4 trillion, making it the largest economy globally. China holds the second position, with a GDP close to $14.3 trillion. Germany and India are not far behind, with their GDPs rounding up to approximately $3.8 trillion and $2.6 trillion respectively. This economic evaluation through GDP thus provides a robust, objective, and comparative analysis of each country's economic health and performance. As we've already learned, GDP is a vital tool in understanding a country's economic health. It serves as a critical instrument for assessing the economic performance and direction of a country. It's like a compass guiding policymakers on their journey to economic stability and prosperity. Just like in a chess game, where each move is critical and impacts the outcome, economic decisions based on the GDP can influence a nation's economic trajectory. Economic policymakers utilize the GDP as a roadmap to devise their economic strategies. They dissect the GDP figures with a fine-tooth comb, looking at various facets such as consumption, investment, government spending, and net exports. All these factors contribute to a comprehensive picture of the economic landscape. Not only do they analyze the GDP, but they also correlate it with other economic indicators like inflation, unemployment, and interest rates to derive a holistic view of the nation's economy. These multiple data points provide a broad understanding of the current economic situation, allowing policymakers to make informed decisions. For instance, if the GDP is growing, it often signifies economic prosperity. This growth may suggest industries are flourishing, jobs are abundant, and consumer spending is robust. It's an indicator that the economy is on an upward trajectory. Such a positive trend may prompt policymakers to focus on sustaining this growth, ensuring its longevity, and preventing economic overheating. In essence, the GDP serves as a barometer for economic health, guiding the decision-making process of policymakers, shaping economic strategies, and driving growth. For instance, a country with a growing GDP is often seen as a sign of economic prosperity. This growth could indicate that businesses are producing and selling more, employment rates are high, and consumers are spending. Policymakers in such a situation might focus on maintaining this growth and ensuring it's sustainable in the long run. Despite its significant role in shaping economic policies, GDP is not a perfect measure. It has its drawbacks that can distort the perception of economic health and well-being. For instance, GDP doesn't account for income distribution. It only offers a country's average economic output and doesn't acknowledge the wealth concentrated in the hands of few. Furthermore, GDP disregards the economy, like street vending or unregistered businesses. These contribute to the economy yet aren't included in GDP computations, resulting in an incomplete picture. Another overlooked aspect is the value of household work. Essential activities like cleaning or elder care are excluded from GDP as they are unpaid services. Finally, GDP fails to consider the negative externalities of economic activity, like pollution or over-extraction of resources. These activities, while boosting GDP in the short run, pose significant long-term costs. Policymakers must therefore consider these limitations when interpreting GDP figures and formulating economic strategies. It's like using a map to navigate a journey. It can guide you to your destination, but it might not show every pothole or detour along the way. Policymakers must therefore consider these limitations when interpreting GDP figures and formulating economic strategies.